Musically, one of the kind of components that I had in mind was to have a real sense of dread to some of the music. And because I suppose film soundtracks kind of had a bearing on an influence on the writing, to me it was always logical that there would be a horror element to it. Not in a completely blatant way, not like in a necrophagia way, or with some bands you really push the whole horror film connection. It's a kind of a subtle thing. But musically for me, it's all over it.
Kids, we were tape trading together.
Yeah.
So we had a notion to start a band when we were about 16 or 17. So I suppose if you want to really be pedantic, that's where the genesis of it all goes back
20
to.
years in the making. But basically, the long and the short of it was going to be this little thing. I was just going to record some music, get Dara to do vocals, and then Dara was like, well, what about if we got Percival to play drums? He was like, yeah, that might work. And I was like, what about if we got Karen to play bass? And
Suddenly we had a band.
Suddenly we had a band. We're based in a city where you have things like fucking Bram Stoker was from here. You've got St. Michael's. You've got like this whole dark side of Irish cultural history.
Sheridan Le Fanu,
the whole lot. It's all within walking distance, and that's that was a big inspiration in itself. That was the thing that we wanted to tap into, and we wanted to kind of use as an inspiration and to help kind of mould our own identity with. It's really important to us,
This city that became our home.
Yeah.
Because none of us are.
Jason's the only one
Apart
from
Jason,
Dublin. All the rest of us are from, sticks.
Has some very interesting unknown aspects in history, as Jamie touched on, that we tapped into a little bit.
We're the ghost bus of Irish death metal. I always say to people that death metal, it's more like some people kind of have a rule book, whereas it's more of a guidebook for us. You know what I mean? It's like this is the basis of it, but you can do whatever you want.
Death metal is, to me anyway, and it always has been, the single most expressive form of music within the entire metal sphere. Within death metal, you can have clean singing within a song, and it doesn't detract from the overall thing. You can go fast, you can go slow, you can add organ, keyboard, but there's so much room to add, atmosphere, emotion, intensity, aggression. There's so much scope. Of course, if you just want to play brutal and blasting the whole time, that's fine, but that was never our aim anyway. Listen to Altars of Madness, it's the start. There's a verse, chorus, then back again. You know, they wrote songs. Trey, I thought, wrote songs like you know, because he was listening to Van Halen and Judas Priest. You know, of course there was blasting and everything like that, but there's a discernible structure to what they were doing. There's blasting for the sake of blasting and just like, you know, fingers running up and down the fretboard. Fine, if bands are into that, that's cool. I'm not interested in listening to that for the most part.
Also, something that I think you'd agree on, that along with riffs and good songwriting, dynamics has become a completely lost art form. Everything now is just, it's processed, it's on a level, and it's just pummeling. Everything is just on the same line, and it's just, you know, whereas we, I suppose, maybe taking, as Brendan would probably say, taking influence from even old rock stuff. There's peaks and troughs, and you know, there's little quiet bits where we're playing lighter, and you know, you use that thing to build the music for the heavier bits, and you can see it and hear it as the songs go. Dynamics are so important to him, and we use that quite a lot, I think.
See, I think the way it works and what makes it attractive to watch is that the stage is kind of set up, you know, all the green lights, tons of fog, all that kind of stuff, and you kind of think that this band is going to walk out who have all their, you know, the hoods and the mask and all that, and like I know we're all really tired of that stuff now, you know, and then you just effectively have like a rock band, you know, got on stage, and just really what you're seeing is just all of us having a lot of fun on stage, and that's what it is, you know.
And everybody's got bullshit going on in their lives, so that whatever half hour, 40 minutes on stage, you can just go fuck the world and let it all out, you know.
Occasionally I'd get writer's block, and one of the things that I would do is I would stay up. I have really bad insomnia. I'd stay up watching horror films with the sound down and just play guitar and then record whatever I was playing. I think part of Witches came about that. You know, parts of some of the other songs, the kind of more atmospheric parts, are a result of that. So it permeates the writing in a weird way like that. I think about it, how we put the songs together on a record, on a recording, almost like you would a story in a horror film, in terms of how the arc of it will go, how the different moods will impact each other and work together and stuff like that. So. And I think of music generally as a cinematic thing.
What that indicates as well is how really limitless in terms of influence the band is, you know, because like if you're looking at things in that kind of cinematic sense and scope, you know, you open up so many different avenues to go down to put into the music in terms of like building layers, building atmospheres, you know, having an oppressive feel, you know, having a, you know, a sense of, you know, relief and all these different things. So there's so much that you know we can put into something, and again, like I said, you know, to me death metal is the most limitless genre of metal that there can be.